Welcome to Mancave, conversations that are manly by men, for men. What is it that you do with your life when you decide this is the path I want to take, but not everybody else understands that path? That's a conversation we want to have today on Mancave, and our guest is Philip Karanja, award-winning film director. So what do we call you, cinematographer and all those other things? Let's just call you a film enthusiast.
Oh yeah.
Yes?
The best one.
That's a good one.
Yes.
And a storyteller.
Yeah.
How did you end up in film?
I've always loved film from when I was a young kid. I remember growing up. I grew up in Dandora, so films they used to charge 5 shillings to watch at the local movie theater, the cinema. So I remember my goal in life was during the week to save up to 20 bob. Then on Sunday, that would be my film day.
Watch 4 films.
Those are 4 films. So 2 in the morning, break for lunch, 2 in the afternoon. I was so addicted to films, I used to count the number of films that I'm watching. So, and then after watching the film on Sunday, that whole week, I'd be the star I was watching. For example, if it was a Bruce Lee flick that I loved, I'd be Bruce Lee for the rest of the week. Later on, I discovered that's called method acting, where you impersonate someone for a long time. So yeah, I've always loved film to date.
So this is from a young age?
Yes.
From 6, 7, 10,
Yeah,
11 years old?
6, 7 years, 8 years at least. That's as far back as I can remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when you tell people that you love movies, you just, at that point, what you felt was you loved watching the movies, you loved seeing what the characters are doing and trying to enact them throughout the week. You're calling it what again?
Method acting.
That one, method acting.
Yeah.
But did you feel that you wanted to be an actor, or did you feel like you wanted to be the producer, the one that gets the movie out?
I keep laughing because what I used to dream about has happened in my life. So I always wanted to be the main guy in the film who gets the damsel, the lady in red, and get the leading actress. But I always wanted to be the boss behind all this. So at that time, I didn't know the boss was called a producer or a director. But I just wanted to be the boss, and I wanted my girlfriend or my wife to be the leading actress.
And this is exactly how it panned out.
Oh yeah, 100%, 100%.
Tell us about your family background. So you grew up in Dandora.
Yeah.
How many siblings did you have?
I have 4 other sisters, so we were 5 siblings in total. So I was the only guy. Grew up with my mom and my dad. Very humble but hardworking parents. They were both teachers. So I keep saying, watu wakifunga shule. Our living room was a staff room. Like literally, tulikuwa tunafunga shule, and I had what is it called, timetable for my holiday. Na ukifunga shule pia wamefunga shule, so they're there. Yeah. So yeah, and I had amazing parents. I must admit. Yeah.
So and then as you went through primary and into high school, were you performing well in school? Were you performing in a way that would lead you into this job that you ended up doing?
I was an average kid. I wasn't a poor student, but I was a student wapo tuseme B. I was a B student. I was an average student, which in our house was a problem, because all my 4 sisters are all of them are all A students, and we're still Africans at the end of the day. So my dad would always ask me, when ni mwanaume na wewe ndo unafail kwa hii nyumba, sasa utashikiliaje hii familia? And that was the first challenge, because academically I wasn't into it. I'm an artist. Mimi sitting behind a desk a whole day, to date I can't sit still in my office for more than 2 hours. Like I have to take a walk or something. So that was the biggest challenge, and we used to fight a lot with my dad concerning that, because I was always an artist. From as far back as class 1, class 2, I used to be a fine artist.
What were your best subjects in school?
Fine art, anything with art, and history. I loved history.
Those you get an A.
Yes, those I'd get an A. Maths, now sciences, D's and E's. So even the teachers would always, what's your problem? You can't be scoring A's in English, Swahili, history, CRE, like literally I'd score A's. Then ikifika maths and sciences, uko huko chini, bro, kuna
There's no
kitu hapa.
balance,
Yeah, there's no balance. Ni nini na hapa?
And now, your parents are teachers. What kind of pressure are they giving you at home?
Now where I am in life, I totally understand where my dad was coming from. At that point, there were no good examples of artists who are living good lives. So, and he was seeing the trajectory I was taking. So for him, it's like, if you want a good life, you have to study, pass, pata A, fanya engineering, ama ukue daktari, ama ukue lawyer. Because back then, those were the only successful people they saw in society.
Yeah.
So I honestly grew up hating school because of that. Yeah.
So you were feeling the pressure at home, in school,
Yeah.
with the performance, with your interaction with the subjects that you were doing.
Yeah.
Where was the turning point?
It's usually a sad story, but when I was in Form 2, my dad passed away. And it's okay. So this is how I never know how to frame this, because it always comes off the wrong way. But in a weird way, that was a blessing in disguise, because my dad was hell-bent on, you have to pass academically. So I used to do well in school, not because I really want to, but because I have to impress my father.
Yeah.
So when he passed on, my mom is a bit more laid back, and she will let me do what I want. And after my dad passed on, I started flourishing in arts, and when I got to Form 4 KCSE, I failed. I got a C. Now, in our house, a C is a fail, because everyone else gets an A. Like, umeleta C kwa hii nyumba tufanye nini nayo?
So your sisters all would score A's
All of them.
in their exams.
All of them.
And now here is Phil coming home with a C
Exactly.
in KCSE.
Yes.
All right.
So
Nataka kuwa mwalimu kama sisi.
kwanza my dad didn't want to hear that. Kwanza alikuwa anasikia unafanya music and you want to end up being a teacher like me, So when I failed KCSE, I got a C. Yeah. I usually tell people, if you want to do something that you love in life, fail in KCSE. Because the next question inakuanga, unataka kufanya nini na maisha yako? What do you want to do? I always say that people who score A's and B's never get that option. You're already put in a box. Ulipata A, lazima ukue daktari, lazima ukue architect, lazima ukue.
The big names.
Yeah, the big names. But if you fail, they're like, so what do you want to do with your life? And that for me was it, because I was like...
It's actually very interesting that you say that. Because
it's sad.
Yeah, the A's will always have the path set for them.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're also going to get admitted into those courses.
True.
Now, if you get below that,
then
the conversation is, okay, so choose your path.
Yeah, exactly. So you can.
And this is the conversation that you had with your mom. So choose your path.
Yeah, choose your
What did you choose?
I chose filmmaking. I told her, at that point, nilikuwa naita cinematography. I want to be a cinematographer. Hiyo ni nini? Ni mambo ya cinema, mom. Oh, kuna shule najua. Inaitwa KIMC, Kenya Institute of Mass Communication. Situende tuiangalia. And I walked into KIMC, the film department. Like, I walked through the entrance, and on the wall there was this, there used to be frames of movies that have won Oscars. And right there's a cabinet of film cameras. I walked in, I was like, I am home. Mom, this is the school I want to go to. I want to do film. I want to come here. And she's like, okay, so let's apply. We applied. I got the opportunity. And from I got into that college and I was like, I'm home. I am home. I have never felt at peace with a learning institution like I did when I was in college. 'Cause
You finally enjoyed education. You
Exactly.
felt now education should have been like this from the
Yeah,
beginning.
from the word go. Ni practical. Unaambiwa chukua kamera, enda uchomwe na jua, enda shoot. I loved practical subjects. And that's why even through primary and high school, I used to do very well in practical subjects, like fine art. Like, tell me to draw, tell me to mold something, tell me to weave a basket, you know. Let me use my hands and creativity. Yeah.
So your mom was supportive,
Yes.
but did she understand you? Your sisters, these A students,
Yeah.
I assume your big sister, you were second born, you said?
Yeah, yes, I'm a second one.
I assume your big sister with her A had already gone on to university to do one of the big ones.
Yes, yes.
Behind you, your other sisters are doing well. They are on their path to doing the big ones.
Yeah.
Did they understand this guy who was going to mass?
For the long,
Did they actually understand? First, did they know KIMC or did they call it KMC?
first of all, they had never heard of that school, that college. And ask my sisters to date, they used, because of the torment I had when I was in school. I used to be a very laid-back guy. Unajua ule mtu hana ambition growing up. So my sisters and my mom believed I'd be that man who, at 40 years old, is still living with the mother, because I had no ambitions. So yeah, so they really didn't think I'd make anything of myself until I got to college, and it's like there's a switch that flicked on, and I don't know, it's like I turned on this switch and I became someone, and finally I had ambition. Finally I had drive.
You had purpose.
Yes, I had purpose, and I gave it 150%. So my mom was very supportive, but at the back of her head, she has never seen successful actors or successful media people. So in her head, I think mom stopped telling me to go back to campus like 4 years ago, imagine. So she'd support me, but at the back of her head, she's like, huyu, hii mchezo anacheza hapa kwa TV, siyarudi
It was
campus.
like, this is just a bridging college.
Exactly.
For you to get your head together so that then you can move into career.
Yeah, absolutely. But right now, thankfully, because the world is really changing, it's changing really fast, and the world is tending to favor creatives nowadays. I think now they've accepted it. Now they're okay with it.
You know, in Mancave, men, we talk about men and the kind of challenges they go through, the kind of pressure that you go through. A number of pressures that I'm picking out from what you're saying. Number one, you're the only son in this family. And number two, you're the only one who's not going to university to do a big course.
Yeah.
Number three, you're the only one who's chosen a path that nobody else understands.
Yeah.
Even I would imagine your boy child friends in Dandora would not really understand exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
So the pressure is, I can imagine, to prove yourself.
Oh yeah, 100%. That pressure has always been there, and I remember even a lot of the guys we were with in college, and we were very tight. It got to a point we couldn't connect anymore, especially when I started working, because I had this pressure that I needed to be successful. Remember, it had always been said to me with my dad that if you don't pass your exams, if you don't, you'll amount to nothing. So I was always fighting that thing. Believe it or not, Eric, in my 30s is when I talked to a therapist, and I didn't realize until very recently, like 2-3 years ago, that I was struggling with that thing. Like, because I'd been told so many times you'll amount to nothing. I have never believed in myself. So I'm always fighting with myself. Like I always underestimate myself.
How is that? Let's take us through that. How does it manifest?
If you ever walk up to me and you tell me, Philip, you're a very successful director, I'll cut you short. I'll always tell you, no, but I'm not like so-and-so. They've done this, this, and this. And I think I thank my wife to a big extent, because she's the one who sat me down, and she's like, you know, Philip, the directors you keep quoting, you have more successful shows than them. You have won more awards than them. Like you're the definition of success. I was like,
To
oh,
them.
to them. I was like, oh my goodness. And I didn't realize it until very recently and so nowadays I'm very particular about the things that we tell our kids. You never know, but it affects them. Because I was always told that I'm not good enough. I've always believed I'm not good enough. But it has also helped me because I overwork myself, because I'm always like, I'm not good enough, so I'm going to prove. I'm going to prove a point.
So you're always fighting to prove yourself
Yes.
to somebody.
Yes.
It's to yourself.
Yes.
And even when somebody tells you, yes, we acknowledge that you're good, here is an award for it, you're still feeling, maybe I don't deserve it.
Yeah, right now we just launched a film. We were just talking in the room, and guys are like, hey, you need to apply for the Kalasha Awards, although I think we're a bit late. I was like, yeah, we'll apply for those awards, but, Mission to Rescue was a bigger film than the film I've done, so I don't think I'll win the awards. It's okay. So,
You're always saying somebody else
Yeah.
may have done better than me.
Yeah, and whew, it looks like a small thing, but it's a dangerous thing when you don't even believe in yourself, because no one is coming to save you, Eric. No one is coming to save you. So imagine you're the only one who can save yourself, and you don't even believe in yourself. So that's been the
Your
one
only
thing I've really
competition is
struggled with.
yourself.
Yeah,
Your only competition is yourself.
exactly.
Now, during this whole phase, until you got to become self-aware of
Yeah,
this,
yeah.
so one, you say that it helped you because you're working extra hard.
Yeah,
But are there negatives to it?
yeah.
What are those negatives?
I don't have a social life at all. So through and through my 20s, I was working even on weekends. I was a production assistant and director for 2 shows. This was Tahidi High and Mother-in-Law. And we'd shoot Mother-in-Law from Monday to Thursday. On Friday, I'm prepping for Tahidi, which we're shooting on Saturday. Then on Sunday, I'm prepping for Mother-in-Law, which we're shooting on Monday. So I never had a social life. So to date, if I find myself on a weekend and I have nothing to do, I just sit in the house. I don't know what to do. So I don't have that many friends because I was always working, always working. And now I'm at a point in my life, I'm like, hiya, wait, human connection is important. Like nowadays, I'm always thinking, so what do people do on weekends? How do I connect? I think I only have like 2 friends. So if they're not available, I'm always stranded. Who do I call?
You're at a loss.
Yeah, who do I talk to? It's weird. but I don't know. It also brings me to a question I've been struggling with. Is there a win for men? Because for men, you either choose a path where you aim for success and wealth, and you always find yourself lonely. Or if you choose this other path, in your older age, you have nothing to show for it, and everyone despises you, your family, your kids. I don't know.
If you party too much, then you're not building wealth.
Exactly.
If you're building wealth, then you're not socializing as much.
Exactly.
And who judges then at the end? Is it you who's going to judge, or is it your family? Is it your friends? Who's going to determine whether, yes, you as a man, then you qualify to enter the pearly gates or not?
I think it's a society construct. I think the minute you're born a man, you're already, society already values women and children. You're a woman, society already values you. You could be a lady in your 40s, still living with your parents, and people are okay with that. You're a man in your 30s. Unafanya nini kwa mzazi? You're born a man, and automatically everyone expects that you'll be wealthier than your father. A man's value is what he brings to the table, unfortunately, and that's
material.
Yeah, it's material. Unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Our only value is what we bring to the table, and that's why a lot of teenage boys have an issue transitioning to men, because as a kid you're valuable. When mtoto will take care of you, the minute you get to teenagehood, you're a man. What's your value?
And
now?
the expectations shift.
Yeah. We'll still take care of the girl child, but you as a man, yeah, what value are you bringing to the table? Nata enda ushago. The men with wealth, ama mwenye ametoka Nairobi akona pesa, family gatherings, they're taken care of.
You're a chief.
Yeah, you're a chief.
Even if you're the last born, you're the one who says what happens.
Exactly. If you're a man and you're broke,
Nobody
one
listens
cares.
to you.
Yeah.
So, have you found an answer to that philosophical question? Does a man get to win?
I'm still trying. Out of the top 10 richest men in the world, I think 8 of them are divorced, only 2 are still married. And I heard Elon Musk the other day in kama wame split. So I think it's only Zuckerberg.
Elon is always...
Yeah,
shifting.
exactly. He's already on his second marriage. So if you get the answer on Mancave, please let me know. Because the truth is, in your pursuit for success and wealth, then it means when you're at work, you're not spending time with family. Yeah. When you're with family, you're not spending time on your business. I don't think there's a balance, honestly. You might try, but I don't know. If you get an answer.
Do you think it goes in phases, though? That there's a phase where you push your career, and then there's a phase where now you slow down on the career because you're already reaping the benefits of it, and now start investing a lot more on the social side.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, that's true. Unfortunately, the phase where you're pushing your career and your business is in your 20s, 30s, and maybe up to mid-40s. And then the investment starts paying off.
When you should be building.
Yeah. So by the time your investments are paying off, your kids have already grown, they've left. Your wife hata siku hizi ni kaa sister yako hata muongeangi. Unajua pia she has her own life. So that's why I'm saying that balance. Unfortunately, only in your 20s and 30s can you really work on your career. But at the same time, society expects you to be this awesome dad who's still spending time with family. Yeah.
How can the 20s and 30s men help one another through that journey? Because like you say, that's a very critical phase. But also, if you look at today's society, that's also the phase where you have a lot of pressure to prove yourself to your fellow men,
Yeah.
not even to anybody else. So if you're either working too hard like Phil, you are struggling with your own identity,
Yeah.
or you are partying too hard because you want to show the other guys that, you know what, when guys are talking about Vasha, I'm there.
Yeah.
When they're talking about, I mean, this is the time for people to go to Costo, I'm there.
Yeah.
And you end up now spending so much time trying to prove yourself to your fellow men that you again lose this other side.
Yeah.
What would you say would be, if you were to look back and speak to the 20-year-old Phil, how would you ask him to strike that balance in his 20s?
I'm struggling with that question because I had friends who leaned in on the fun and the hanging out and Vasha, and now I see where they are at, and I don't want to be there, and I see them struggling. So for that 20-year-old, I think we all need to now start unlearning a lot of what society expectations are. Charles Jones, or the former Attorney General, he married at the age of 52. Who says that's wrong? He's 102 years now. That's 50 years with family. I think by the time he was marrying at 52, he had already built his career. He was good. You know, so what's wrong?
He had built a country.
Yeah, he had built a country. You know, so especially for men in their 20s, honestly, focus on your career, focus on your skill. In your 20s, build your skill. In your 30s, that skill will pay you the most money you've ever made from that skill, because now you're an expert when it comes to that skill. Then at that point, start investing. Start investing before you go the family way. Because as a man, it's hard to invest and save the minute family comes around, unfortunately. Yeah. That's what I'll tell young men. Yeah.
And those are wise words that you've given us today, Philip.
Thanks, man.
Thanks for coming to the Mancave.
All right.
Cheers, man.
Shukran, bro. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.